my input on Frost Legends mob vote video. Let's go. Starting things off, how did I do this? Well, it's pretty simple. I throw my drawing pad and my pen around the room until something happens. So, eventually, I made one passive mob, one hostile mob, and one boss. So why not start with the boss, because that's going to be the most interesting one. For the boss, I thought that Minecraft could do something a bit more difficult for those more advanced players who don't want to play on hardcore, but the Ender Dragon and Wither are too easy. I took inspiration from the Destroyer from Terraria when I made this boss, and it turned out half decent. The boss would have 1000 health, which gives it the highest health in the game. To add on to that, it takes half damage from melee weapons, quarter damage from arrows, but in return, it takes 5 times the damage from explosive, and 50 times the damage from fireworks. Fireworks are one of my favorite weapons, and they go very underused. So I wanted to give them more of a use when it comes to single-player Minecraft besides Elytra. This boss would function by spawning underground once its item is used, known as the Eater's Pendant. And once that happens, the fight is on. The boss will shoot up from the ground near the player, but will not spawn directly underneath the player. After it surfaces, it is now able to be damaged. It shoots gassed fireballs, summons drill bots, and will try to eat the player if it gets too close. The fireballs will not destroy the ground, but will spawn temporary fire and deal medium damage to the player. The drill bots have low health and zombie-like speed, but they also deal really small damage because they're going to be more for swarming. Not a lot will spawn like once per cycle, I guess, because as the Eater comes up, it attacks, goes back down, goes to a new spot. And the bite attack, of course, is a one-shot, so don't get too close to it. Killing the boss will always drop at least 10 levels of XP, and will drop another Eater's Pendant, and a large assortment of redstone-related items, such as redstone objects, pistons, observers, slime and honey blocks, dispensers, droppers, hoppers, and TNT. I wanted to reference a certain redstone machine that I believe is still known as the Chunk Eater, which literally eats chunks in your world, so I gave this worm-kind boss the name Thing, the Chunk Eater. Also, summoning the Chunk Eater gives you the advancement Mechanical Monstrosity, and then when you kill it, you get the achievement Mechanical Manslaughter. In order to get the Eater's Pendant, you need to use 4 iron ingots within the corners, 1 redstone block in the center, and 4 smooth stone around the sides. It's a pretty easy recipe to make, but this should be after you get like a full level beacon. This is a pretty late boss. You need a lot of fireworks for this. Now, for the hostile mob, it's a weird one. It is known as the Guardian of Souls, and it is a bat that is the same size as the player. It spawns naturally within the Deep Dark, and will only attack the player if more than 5 mobs are killed near it. So basically, this way this works, it's like a skulk sensor, but instead of spreading skulk, it increases aggression. However, aggression only becomes active to the player once there's an aggression level above 5. And anything above 5 won't increase the aggression of the Guardian of Souls. So, the Guardian itself has low health, but flies the same speed as a normal bat, and summons bats when it's killed. These mini bats won't actually do anything, they're just there as a funny distraction. It's like it's a poof of smoke or something, but instead of smoke, it is naturally bats. The Guardian will drop some XP when it dies, and that's it. The Guardian of Souls is not too special, but it's really just supposed to be something to give the bats more love. The bats do nothing in the game, and so they need something, so give them a hostile mob variant. That's a really big bat. Most bats in real life aren't actually hostile, and it goes against the logic of Minecraft or Mojang not putting in hostile mobs that are real creatures, even though silverfish exist. So finally, we have the passive mob. I always love the idea of being able to do something above build limit, and some form of mob would be really cool. One that you would use Elytra to fly up to, and you'd get some special items. The Skykeeper peacefully swims across the skies, similar to the Reef Leviathan from Subnautica. It is 50 blocks long and 25 blocks wide. This mob would spawn during the day in clear weather at Y level 400, but it will only spawn in if you yourself are above Y level 250. This mob deals no damage, of course, but the important thing about the Skykeeper is what grows on its back. The Coronation, a mixture of the words Curus, referencing Curus clouds, and Coronation, which is a kind of flower. One flower grows on each Skykeeper, and they net really good rewards. The Coronation itself only drops when shears are used, and holding the flower gives you the achievement the Cloud Flower. When broken without shears, you get the Coronation Stomata and 6 Coronation Petals. The Coronation Pulp can be crafted into 3 pieces of space dye that function similar to glow ink sacs, but could also be used on armor and banners. The space dye would give a void aesthetic to whatever it is used on. 8 Coronation Petals can be used to craft Coronation Feathers, and will turn into something very cool once you have the following materials. In a sky station, which we'll get more in depth in later, but it's crafted with a Coronation Flower, crafting table, furnace, brewing stand, anvil, smithing table, ender chest, stone cutter, and grindstone. You would put 2 elytra on top of each other, 4 Coronation Feathers on the sides of the elytra, and then 3 Coronation Stomatas along the top. After doing that, you get the Sky Surfer, which you don't need fireworks to fly with, but in return, you move slightly slower. So basically, you're flying a big ol' airplane on your back. So, back to the Sky Station. It is a late game item that acts as every workstation that was listed, and when clicked on, a HUD would come up saying, what do you want to use? And you could click, I want to use a crafting table, I want to use a furnace. So it's basically an easy way to store all of your crafting stations in one place. So, having the Sky Surface in your inventory would give you the achievement Skykeeper's Apprentice. Another very important thing, Sky Surfers can be combined with a chest plate when using the Sky Station. It's basically a way to allow players to fly even with their good armor on. And if that were added, of course, elytra could be combined with chest plates at the same time. So the Skykeeper is definitely my favorite, as you could probably hear, and I would love to see something be added above the build limit, whether that be like an island or a mob. So that is my input on Frost Legends video. Good night, Tri-State area.